Well, shortly before the last presidential election, the New York Post did what journalists are supposed to do. They dug up news. They came up with the contents of Hunter Biden's personal laptop. And boy, was there a lot on there. Not just the famous pictures of Hunter Biden putting M&Ms on his private parts, but also extensive evidence of the Biden family's long-term overseas influence peddling operation. How do they live in those big houses? Because they're getting paid off by foreign governments in exchange for favors, the Ukrainian government, among others. So we took a look at those claims and quickly confirmed that the laptop was authentic. And as part of that reporting process, we interviewed Tony Bobulinski. He was mentioned on the laptop numerous times. He worked with Hunter Biden. But in a twist that will haunt us for the rest of our lives, that laptop was used as a pretext to impose a vast censorship regime on the United States of America. Big tech censored the New York Post on the basis that it was Russian disinformation. Joe Biden did the same. On the debate stage, citing 50 former intelligence officials, all of them liars, Biden again called the whole laptop story Russian disinformation.
We are in a situation where we have foreign countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, his buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true.
Foreign interference in our elections. Of course, the irony is the laptop showed that foreign companies and governments had been paying the Biden family in exchange for changing U.S. policy toward those countries, selling out our nation for cash. The Ukrainians most famously. But the rest of the media dutifully echoed Joe Biden's lie. Watch.
Disinformation that he knows to be fabricated and supplied by a foreign intelligence service. And despite the warning, he's still doing it.
You have said this entire thing is so obviously a Russian plot.
It's sort of a crazy quilt at this point, which has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. That said, it wasn't for lack of trying.
Rudy basically functioning as a Russian asset by pushing Russian disinformation.
CNN reported on Friday that U.S. authorities are seeing if those emails we just talked about are connected to an ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
It's pretty amazing to look back at that. So a lot of the people you just heard as cable news dingbats, they've never read a book in their lives. They have no idea what's going on. They just read the script, whatever. But a couple of the people in that montage are supposedly serious people who held positions of real authority. One of them, McFaul, was the U.S. ambassador to Russia. Another one was a high FBI executive.
It is 8:30 in Athens. That would make it 8:30 in Kiev and 9:30 in Moscow. And I thought I would do my morning update for this Friday. And you just saw a video there of Joe Biden saying that the whole Hunter Biden laptop thing was, well, Russian disinformation, wasn't it? And that was when Biden was running for president. That was during the debates with Trump. And we all know now the truth. Well, we knew back then the truth about the Hunter Biden laptop, but now the New York Times has come out and admitted that the Hunter Biden laptop was indeed real. And back then you had 50 intelligence experts who claimed that this was Russian disinformation. They signed their names to a document. And the Biden campaign said this was Russian disinformation. The mainstream media said this was Russian disinformation. We had all kinds of censorship and deplatforming. The most famous one was the New York Post, which broke the story. Well, they got banned from Twitter for like 2-3 weeks. And you have just all kinds of shadow banning and suppression of the story with regards to Hunter Biden in order to help Joe Biden get into office. And what was the whole laptop thing about? Well, a lot of it, outside of the crack and prostitute images and videos, a lot of it centered around, you guessed it, Ukraine. And Joe Biden's kickbacks and the 10% for the big guy and Hunter's business dealings with Burisma and the oligarchs behind Burisma, who coincidentally are the same oligarchs or oligarch who is pulling the strings on the Zelensky puppet. Isn't that an interesting coincidence? The same oligarch behind Zelensky and Hunter Biden. i.e. Joe Biden. Very interesting. And now the New York Times has decided, just out of the blue, to say, you know what? Yeah, this laptop is authentic. It's real. And there you have it. Why is the New York Times saying this at this moment? Maybe it's because everyone's distracted with the whole Ukraine thing, and so not many people will notice or won't get any media attention. Who knows? Who knows? What are your thoughts? Why did the New York Times decide to come clean now all of a sudden? Maybe it has to do with the midterms. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe there's information that the Russians have that is going to come out soon. And the New York Times got nervous and they said, you know what? Let's fess up to this and just admit that the laptop was real, because the Russians have a lot of info, or at least we're hearing that the Russians may have a lot of info from Ukraine that they may be throwing out there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but there you have it. The laptop is real. And it is all about Ukraine, by the way. The whole laptop. A lot of the laptop is about Ukraine. And now here we are with this conflict in Ukraine. So that was the big news of yesterday. We also have disinformation. Disinformation, right? Before I get into the next story. Russian disinformation. It's incredible how the collective West has been propagandized over 5-10 years with this Putin is bad and Russian disinformation stuff. So that now when you do have the conflict, everyone just kind of, follows the herd, right? They just run off the cliff, everybody. Right, left, conservative, liberal, progressive, libertarian, mainstream media, independent content creator. They're all buying into the Zelensky is a hero, Putin is bad, Russia is evil narrative. Even people that had doubts about the coup and spoke out about the coup and the jabs, even these people who supported the trucker convoy, when it comes to Putin, when it comes to Russia, evil. Evil, evil. Yeah, the propagandists, the deep state, they figured it out, man. I have to give it to them. They figured it out. They figured out that we could, propagandize some on Trump and the MAGA movement. We can get some people there. We can get some people on racism and white supremacy and stuff like that. We can get some people there, and propagandize with those topics and those themes. And then they realized the big one. Well, the big one was the health scare, the coup. There we can really get people. We can really get people to buy into the stuff we're selling with a health scare, with the coup. But still, there were people that doubted. There were still people that doubted. There were still people that were anti-jab and still people that were skeptical, and they started calling out the Great Reset, and they started exposing Klaus Schwab, and all of these things started to happen around the coup. Well, they figured out the ultimate narrative in order to collect everyone together and move them towards the World War III scenario, move them towards the collapse and the Great Reset. Get everyone in agreement, and that was Russia. Putin and Russia. Even more than a health scare, Putin and Russia, boy, is it the ultimate brainwashing tool. So anyway, disinformation. And now you have the sources in and around the Pentagon, these sources that the New York Times, this is coming from the New York Times, are claiming that there are people in the Pentagon who say that 7,000 Russian troops have died in Ukraine and upwards of 25,000 are injured. And now you are getting a lot of sources as well, which are claiming that, and this was 2 days ago, that are claiming the Russian military will collapse in 10 days. So as I am filming this video, there are 8 days left, and then you will have the complete collapse of the Russian military in Ukraine, which would mean that you would have the collapse of the Putin government, because whether the people revolt or whether it is forces from within, they will remove Putin and you will have a collapse of the Russian government, in which case the carpetbaggers and the EU officials and the IMF and the World Bank and the Bidens and the Hunter Bidens and the Pelosi's kids and the Mitt Romney kids, they'll all book a flight to Moscow and they will start the pillaging and the eventual balkanization of Russia into 4 or 5 different countries. That, I guess, is the overarching narrative that we're being told by these sources in the New York Times and these sources in the Pentagon, the Department of Defense. They are saying 7,000 Russian soldiers have died. Can anyone confirm this? No, no one can. The last confirmed report from the Ministry of Defense of Russia, and I'm not saying that their numbers are accurate, but you would imagine they may be lowballing it a little, but that was like a week ago, and they said, what was it? 350, 400 deaths combined. That includes Donetsk, Lugansk militia, and the Russian military. That was about a week ago, and that was from the Ministry of Defense of Russia. They haven't given any numbers since. Coincidentally, they also estimated that the deaths on the Ukraine military side numbered, I think they said either 2,000 or 3,000. I did a video on this, but I forgot the number there. So that was from the Ministry of Defense of Russia, which even if they're lowballing it, say they're lowballing it and it's 600 or 700, I don't know, say 1,000, maybe even a little more, 7,000, 25,000 injured. All right, depends what you believe. It depends what you believe, but maybe they're right. Maybe 7,000 Russian military have died. And maybe you do have 25,000 injured, and maybe in 8 days, which is pretty much a week from now, it's a little windy, so there may be some wind noise here, but I'll fix that in post. I'll try to fix that in post-production. But maybe if they're correct, then you will have the collapse of the Putin government in about a week from now. That's if you believe the stories coming out of the New York Times. The New York Times, which told us the Hunter Biden laptop 2 years ago was fake and it was Russian disinformation. The same New York Times is now saying that you have 7,000, or they're reporting from their sources in the Pentagon that there's 7,000 dead Russian military and 25,000 injured. So anyway, I can't confirm it. I don't think the New York Times can confirm it. I don't think the Department of Defense can really confirm it either. But fog of war. So I just thought I would bring that story to everybody because the theme in the first segment of this video is disinformation, specifically coming from the NYT. What else do I want to talk about? The situation in Mariupol is the same as yesterday. That's where the real fighting is taking place, in the east and in the Donbass and in Mariupol. And the Russians are tightening their grip. It's a matter of days. The Russians are tightening their grip, and that's the situation going on in the east, which is the real story of this war. The collapse of the Ukraine military in the east of Ukraine. There were reports this morning of missile strikes or bombs or something happening in an airport in Lviv or outside of Lviv. I don't have any information at this time regarding that. I don't know if this is another strike on a mercenary training facility there or if it's something else. We'll find out as the day goes along. Maybe we'll find out. If it's significant, we'll find out. If it was just something random, okay. There is some action in Odessa that is taking place a little bit, but nothing significant to report there as well. But you are starting to get reports trickling out that something might be happening in Odessa. I don't have anything to report there. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's happening in Ukraine on the ground. Putin's going to be speaking to the Russian people at 3 o'clock Moscow time. Another speech where he's going to talk about the Crimea anniversary, where Crimea was voted. The people of Crimea exercised their human right and their democratic right to vote to enter the Russian Federation. That's just a fact. There was no invasion in Crimea. Russian troops are already there, and the people voted overwhelmingly to enter the Russian Federation. And it was a vote that was overseen by countless international observers. And they voted to become part of Russia, and this was after the Barack Obama, EU, Joe Biden, Victoria Nuland coup in 2014 and 15, which led to the civil war in 2015. So you're going to have a speech from Putin. I'm sure he's going to brief the Russian people as to what's going on. And he's also going to commemorate the anniversary of Crimea. And what else is there to talk about? I think that is it. Well, there's reports about negotiations between what Putin told Erdogan in Turkey, that these are our demands and perhaps there's the possibility of a ceasefire. And Anthony Blinken even said that perhaps there's a possibility of a ceasefire, which is interesting because Blinken has been one of the drivers of this war. And for him to say there's the possibility of a ceasefire, I think is a hint that Ukraine is losing, and they're losing bad. They are losing bad. This narrative of Ukraine winning is interesting, and going back to the New York Times article with 7,000 troops that have been killed in Russia and 8 days, and it's going to collapse. The whole Russian army is going to collapse. If this is the case, if this is the situation, and it is so bad and so bleak for Putin and for the Russian military in Ukraine, why do you need no-fly zones? Why does Zelensky have to give speeches to the parliament in Canada, to the U.S. Congress, and yesterday he gave a speech to the German parliament? Why does Zelensky have to run around and give speeches and beg for weapons, for military assistance, for no-fly zones, for MiGs? If the situation is that bad for the Russian military, that bad, 25,000 injured, 7,000 dead, and rising, the collapse of the Putin government and the Putin military in 8 days from now, if it's that bad, why do we need no-fly zones? Why do we need the panic that we see in the mainstream media with regards to Putin? Why is Zelensky running around, if he's even in Kiev, because there's a lot of people that have doubts about that? I don't know. But there's been reports, specifically from John Helmer, who have pointed out some interesting photographs from the train stations in Poland and in Kiev, and how they're very different. He was referencing the fact that Polish, Czech, and Slovenia leaders visited Kiev, and he was pointing to the fact that the train stations do not resemble the train station in Kiev, but resemble the train station in Poland, where the leaders met and disembarked. Anyway, if it's that bad, why do you have all of this going on? Why not just wait? Why not just let the Ukrainians continue to fight as they are, because they're obviously winning, and just lead to the collapse of the Putin government? I mean, I think if that's the narrative that we're being told, then just wait it out 8 more days and it's all over. And then Russia is open for neoliberal business. I don't know. But, So anyway, look, for Blinken to say that there's room for a ceasefire, and Blinken was one of the big drivers of this war, along with Nuland and all of these characters, for him to say that, well, that means that he's getting nervous, and that's telling. Lloyd Austin was in Bratislava yesterday, and he gave a press conference and said that there is no chance for a no-fly zone. And this confirms what I was reporting the other day in my video. The Department of State, the Nulands and the Blinkens and these crazies, they want war. They want freaking war. But it is the generals and it is the Pentagon and it's people that actually know what war means and what World War III would entail. It's those people that are putting the brakes on the plans of crazy Nuland. You also had the Ministry of Defense in Russia. They put out more information with the bioweapons and the biolabs. That's just a huge topic. There's links for it. You won't find it on mainstream media, but there are links to those documents. Take a look. It is incredible. It's basically claiming that these biolabs, these research facilities, as Nuland calls them, were creating all kinds of pathogens that were specific to Slavic people, which is really interesting. The Ministry of Defense says they're authentic, they have certificates, they have signatures, they have stamps of the officials. The credibility of Nuland is shot because, she admitted. They tried to hide it, but she admitted that these research facilities are indeed real. So why wouldn't these documents be real as well? Once again, Russian disinformation, like the Hunter Biden laptop, is it Russian disinformation? These new documents about the biolabs and the research facilities, you decide. You decide, but take a look at them. It's a lot of information, a lot of stuff to go through, but it's interesting, very interesting. The part that caught my eye was that they were creating specific viruses that would harm people of a Slavic origin, of a Slavic ethnicity and culture. And finally, the last thing I want to report on before I grab a coffee and edit this video and get it up is the story that the #1 men's tennis player, Daniil Medvedev, the Russian tennis player, he will need to denounce Vladimir Putin if he is to play at Wimbledon. Incredible. He is going to have to denounce his country and his president to be allowed to play at Wimbledon. Didn't we see this already with Djokovic at the Australian Open? No vax, can't play in the Australian Open. Don't denounce Putin, can't play at Wimbledon. Basically, it's this. This is, in order to be accepted in what is becoming this neoliberal, authoritarian, tyrannical, big tech prison society. I mean, really, the social credit system, Klaus Schwab, Great Reset, prison society. In order to be accepted and in order to function in this society, you have to denounce Trump, you have to denounce the MAGA movement, you have to denounce Putin, you have to accept 5 jabs a year, you have to denounce the anti-jabbers, you have to kiss the ring of Dr. Fauci and all local health officials in various countries. You have to kiss their ring and swear allegiance to them. You have to then swear allegiance to Zelensky. You have to wear a Ukraine flag pin. You have to, if you're a woman, you have to paint your nails in blue and yellow. Really, you have to show a certificate now. The meme going around where people are walking into a restaurant. There's a lot of memes where you have like people about to walk into a restaurant, and the host or hostess at the restaurant is not saying, "May I see your KUF certificate?" They're saying, "May I see your I support Zelensky certificate?" That's real. That is real. That is real. Can we be done with the ATP and with Tennis Association? Can we find a new structure for this, an alternative structure for the Professional Tennis Association, the Professional Tennis Tour? Because they've obviously gone crazy. They've lost the plot. It started with Djokovic. Djokovic was right. Good on Djokovic. He took a stand, and he was right. Freedom and ETHEREUM. I'm in like this is like a school, like an institute where I am right now in Athens, and there's just graffiti everywhere, man. It's so bad. It is so bad. Jeez. But yeah, Djokovic, man, he took a stand and he was right. Everyone should give Djokovic a big thank you, because he stood up against the jab in Australia, the jab mandates, and he took a stand and they didn't let him play. And now they're not going to let the #1 player from Russia play in Wimbledon because he won't denounce Putin. What's next? What's next? What if Trump wins in 2024? Or what if he even runs? Are you going to be allowed to go to a restaurant if you don't denounce Trump? That's coming. What about DeSantis? Maybe if you don't denounce DeSantis, you won't be able to enter a shopping mall. It's all coming. Anyway, guys, that is the video. theduran.locals.com. Look for our live shows on the Duran. Check out Alexander's channel as well. And that's it. Take care.